Today we're coming to you with another episode of Self-Care Prescriptions, and we're talking about self-care in uncertain times. For example, a lot of people out there have uncertainty about their job, whether they've been laid off or whether they have told to stay home from work. You got parents staying at home with their children because school is out for the next 2 weeks, and just all the things that's just happening so frequent where day-to-day things are changing and people have a lot of uncertainty. So I wanted to turn it over to you, to Dr. Robin, for you to give us some insight and help us during these uncertain times.
Yes, so this is the best time that we can be talking about this. But what I like about this topic is that it's not just relevant for coronavirus right now. I think this could be relevant 4 years from now, because we all during our lives face times of uncertainty, and uncertainty is not something that we specialize in as humans. We don't like to not know what's happening. We don't like to not be in control. So it's a tough time for a lot of us when we face uncertainty. We can't predict what tomorrow's going to look like, and it can frankly be very scary and bring on a lot of fear. But during these times, it can really be helpful if we think about how to implement self-care and how to take better care of ourselves, especially since there can be so much anxiety, so much fear in the air. It can be even more important that we take care of ourselves. So I'm glad that we're talking about this today, and just want to drop 5 tips for you on how you can practice self-care even during times of uncertainty.
That sounds good. I appreciate that. And hit us with these 5 tips.
Yes. So the first one is focus on what you can control. So I know this is a tough one, because what we tend to focus on is all the things that are out of our control. We don't know when we're going back to work. We don't know when the next paycheck is coming. We don't know when our kids are going back to school. But try to focus on what you can control. So it's easy to feel hopeless, but this is what I'm challenging you to do. Ask yourself, what can I control? So for example, you control how you set up your day, even though we've been told we can't go outside. But what can you do that's inside of your control within your home? So you control what you do, what kind of schedule you set for yourself and your kids. You control whether you're going to lay in bed all day or whether you're going to do something that really stimulates your mind and nourishes your body. So think about, what do I have control over? Yes, there's a lot of things outside of my control. I don't know when this whole coronavirus situation is going to get under control, but what I do have control over is how I respond to this stressor. It's a stressor, and I can control how I respond to it. So focus on what you can control and think about, what do I need during this time, and give yourself that, because that is something that you do have control over despite all of the things that are outside of our control. Second, do the next right thing. So again, I know there's a lot that we can feel like we can just feel stuck and feel like I don't know what to do. But we do, in actuality, know a lot about health, about wellness, how to keep ourselves from getting colds, from getting sick. And so do the next right thing. So what are the next right things? Pray, first of all. Wash your hands, get enough sleep. Like, you know these things. A lot of times we can feel like I'm just out of control and I don't know what to do, but you do know what to do. You know that you need 8 hours of sleep per night. You know that you need to get nourishing meals that really fuel your body. You know that movement, if you move your body, that can get some endorphins flowing so you can start feeling better, feeling more energized. You know these things, so don't get so stuck and focused on what you don't know, but think about what is the next right thing for me to do. When you wake up in the morning, the next right thing may be to say a prayer, to say some affirmations, to get yourself moving, do a meditation, do some yoga, then start your day, do your morning routine, then set up a schedule for yourself. Just do the next right thing. And I think this helps us to not get so panicked, because we're not 5 years in the future or 5 days in the future. We're right here, right now. So stay in the present moment and just focus on what is just the next right thing to do. This helps your brain from being overloaded and overwhelmed trying to plan for a future that is uncertain. So just focus on what is the next right thing and do that, and keep going moment by moment in that way. Third, consume the news wisely. So the news has done a really good job of keeping us informed about what's going on, but I think a downside of that sometimes is that they can have a lot of fear and a lot of panic that seeps out in the news, and we internalize that. So consume news wisely. What this means is think about how much time you're spending watching news related to coronavirus, and also paying attention to how does it make you feel watching the news. If you turn around feeling anxious all the time, maybe you want to decrease the amount of time that you're watching the news. But then also consuming news wisely means thinking about where are you getting your source of news. Like, are these people who are giving you the news, are they sensationalizing things, or is it straight facts? So I would say, like, go to the CDC, Center for Disease Control, focus on the news that you can get from them, because you know these are experts who specialize in helping us to deal with diseases and how to control these things. And so focus on, is the news accurate? Is it wise? And also, how much time am I spending with this? Because there's only so much that you can learn. Yes, things keep changing moment by moment, but you will catch up. You don't have to spend all your days just glued to the TV trying to hear about the next thing, because again, that just makes us feel more out of control, more anxious, and more overwhelmed. So you have control of that. You can monitor and limit the amount of time that you spend consuming the news. Consume things that are going to make you feel good. Next, embrace the extra time that you have. So I know when I talk about self-care, one of the number one barriers people talk about is, I don't have time for self-care. Well, guess what? Now we're quarantined. Now you have time for self-care. Now you have time to do those things that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you've wanted to read a book, this book that you've been holding on to for so long that you just don't have time to read for pleasure. Now you have time to read for pleasure. Maybe you've been wanting to try out yoga, try out meditation. Now you have tons of time on your hand to do those things. Or maybe you wanted to write a book. You had some dreams that you wanted to pursue for a long time, but your schedule has just kept you from doing that. Embrace this free time. I think a lot of times we have an issue with having free time. We feel like we have to be going all the time, but that is not the case. We can just chill, just relax, and just be. And you don't have to be doing something every second of every day. You can just be doing nothing. And that's healthy for us to get that rest. Remember, we have to get a balance between achieving our goals, going after the things that we want in life, and also resting and relaxing and recharging. So to embrace this time, don't look at it as something negative, because we can think about healthy things to do with this time, things that fuel us and fulfill us, mind, body, and spirit. So embrace it. Don't think of it as a negative thing. And I challenge you, when you start to get bored, think about what can you do to kind of lift your spirits and to fuel you. Remember, self-care is all about doing things that help you to feel healthy, happy, and effective in your life. So what can you do to help you feel those things? You are in control of your mood and how you feel. You can do things to promote yourself feeling happy, feeling effective, and feeling fulfilled in your life. So I challenge you to do that, especially if you find yourself getting bored during this time of quarantine. Next, connect with loved ones. So this can be tough, especially being a mental health professional. I know isolation has a negative impact on our mental health. And so while we're physically isolated from one another because we have to self-quarantine and do the social distancing, you don't have to not have contact with anyone. This is the beauty of technology. So can you FaceTime someone? Can you get on social media and engage with people? Can you set up Zoom calls with people so you can actually see people's faces, have human contact, maybe not face to face, but you can have it electronically through technology. So I encourage you to connect with the loved ones that you love, check on them, make sure that everybody's doing okay, and just really utilize that social support that helps us all get through this time, because we are not meant as humans to do life alone. And so we want to be utilizing our social support networks and not letting the social distance keep us from having that emotional engagement with people, the social engagement that we can get through technology. So I would encourage you to think about how can you leverage technology to keep you connected with people despite the social distancing that we're having to go through.
We appreciate all these tips. Every tip from start to finish are great tips to actually help people during these uncertain times and actually put the focus back on yourself. Because after this pass over, you're gonna get back in the real world. And if you can apply some of these things that you have worked on, you set up for the win long term. So you know what I mean? We really appreciate it, and we keep looking forward to hearing from you every week. And you got anything else to share before we take off?
Yes, just again, I love what you just said. This is a win for you because if you kind of cultivate these habits of taking care of yourself during this time of uncertainty, you'll be able to do it anytime. So remember, take care of yourself and leverage this time to really pour into you because you deserve it.
But we appreciate that, Dr. Robin. And until next time,
see you later.
Thank you for taking better care of you and for listening to another episode of Self-Care Prescriptions. Stay connected and tuned up with Dr. Robin Gobin. Visit robingobin.com or follow us on all platforms at Dr. Robin Gobin. Stay healthy and stay balanced with Self-Care Prescriptions.